Next, Brother Heber will share a mystery with the brothers and sisters. We understand that we have had many countries since ancient times, only on this land in Chinese mainland. We don't know how many countries have appeared. How many countries have been destroyed again? We can't even figure it out. For example, there was a Qing government before. Before the Qing dynasty, there was the Ming dynasty. Before the Ming dynasty, there were different dynasties. There are also 5 generations and 10 kingdoms. There are more and more countries in the past. And then a country exists for decades. Or it could perish in 1 or 200 years. That's how history changes. The same applies to land in other countries as well. They are all governments of different countries. The downfall of this government, then the next government will take over. The downfall of this dynasty, the next dynasty will take over. The downfall of the Qing dynasty marked the succession of the Nationalist Party. During that period, the Kuomintang could no longer rule. So the Communist Party took over again during this period. Why is it that a dynasty? The downfall of a dynasty. And then what about the rise of the new dynasty? It's related to their gods. That is to say, in the kingdom of Satan. What about the kingdom of Babylon in the sky? For example, the prosperity of the Tang dynasty. So it seems that this god, during the Tang dynasty, it's the one in Satan's kingdom. What about the god who ruled over the Tang dynasty in China? Quite impressive. So he ruled for about 200 years. About 200 years ago. Or maybe over 100 years. So it wasn't long after that. The Song dynasty has arrived again. And then the Tang dynasty was destroyed. What is the reason for this? In the sky. Once held power in heaven. What about the god who ruled over the Tang dynasty in China? He was overthrown by another god. Overturned by other gods. That is to say, overturned by other angels. So what? After it was overthrown, what happened? That other angel, after gaining power, what happened? We need to establish the Song dynasty again. That's why. A dynasty. The existence of a dynasty. Or extinction. It's all because of the sky. The god of Satan's kingdom. When that god reigns, he can have power. Let's talk about it again. What will happen next is, for example, there is a person named Big Bad Man, the great sinner. His god is really powerful. That person, he is not in power yet. Very soon, he personally took power. His god is the devil Satan. Directly enter him. So what? In the near future, he wants to be in charge. Manage 10 kings. There are only 10 kings. He's in charge of everything. These 10 kings have allied with him again. So he took over his military power. Leave everything to that big villain. Why that big criminal? That big villain. It's the person with mouth and eyes. So impressive. Because of the god within him. More powerful than the other 10 kings. The gods of the other 10 kings. Maybe it's an angel. It's just a fallen angel. However, the god inside that big villain, it's the devil Satan. What about the devil Satan? More powerful than other fallen angels. And what about other fallen angels? Some even listen to the devil's intentions. So what? Just like that person. Alliance. That's why. So there are countless countries and nations. Why was it destroyed? Because their gods have been extinguished. They can only destroy it. It's in the sky. Satan's fallen angels. Destroyed. It was thrown into the sulfur lake. After reading the book of Revelation, we discovered that when Satan's angel, after throwing it into the sulfur lake, after being destroyed, what happened? So Satan's land is inhabited by all nations and tribes, will lose their reliance, lost from heaven. The power of their gods belongs to them. So they were like people who are unable to move are generally like someone who doesn't have much ability. In the end, what? Belonging to heaven, belonging to God's children, have gone to victory. Better than them, as there are many now. The people of God. God has already promised them salvation. But they haven't turned back to the Lord yet. Not turning back to God. Although their names, it's already written in the book of life. Or it could be written in the Lamb's book of life. Why haven't they replied yet? There's no rotation. Because the gods who currently reside within them, there is also power. It is Satan's authority in heaven. Satanic. And the authority of Satan's followers. Still in Babylon. They are still sitting on the throne in heaven. Be a king. Rule over this land. So many of our children have not returned to the Father's side yet. But when our time comes, our Heavenly Father, grant authority to the Lord Christ, so it belongs to heaven. Children of God, belonging to heaven. A person who becomes a king, when there's more and more power, what? So at that time, our power became increasingly powerful. Just attack various gods in Satan's kingdom. After attacking various fallen angels, they have no power, no authority, under our jurisdiction. The children who are destined to be saved, they only came back at that time. So today, our truth is that, why are there all the nations and kingdoms on earth? The downfall of this dynasty. That dynasty, rise and fall, because they have many gods. So of course, it was also based on my father's will. Father appointed various gods from the kingdom of Babylon, which belongs to Satan in the sky. Mutual war, mutual attack. So what? So, all the nations and tribes on earth, the rise of this dynasty. That dynasty has fallen again, and then it rose and fell again. This king hates his subordinates again. Where are the subordinates below? Overthrow the king again. Be the king yourself. It's because of this. They're gods. What about their fallen angels in heaven, who are gods? Their angels have power. So they have power. Their gods have no power. They don't have the power. This is what our Father taught us to understand. May glory be to the Heavenly Father and the Lord.